1 billion perfumes are produced daily. This makes the perfume industry exceed $40 billion in sales per year. To supply this huge demand, tons of lavender flowers must be harvested. But how do you transform lavender plantations into a distinguished fragrance? To find out, we go to the perfume capital of the world to learn how the most expensive perfumes are made. "50% of the perfume activity in France is produced in the small town of Grasse, which has been considered the world capital of perfume since 1724. When big perfume brands like Chanel want to market a new fragrance, this is where they turn. Selecting the right ingredients for a new aroma is a real art. It's like a wine tasting. But what elements are needed to create a distinguished fragrance? The basic ingredients of the perfume are composed of essential oils derived from aromatic plants, fruits, and flowers, which are diluted with alcohol. These substances have high alcohol contents. Perfumes are also tested as the Brevo evolves and matures. In the past, they contained substances such as beaver glands and sperm whale secretions. Nowadays, everything is a little more delicate. The essence of lavender is one of the main ingredients of perfumes. Over the last few centuries, and the small town of Grasse produces half of all the lavender in the world. The leaves and striking blue petals of this aromatic shrub are used to make lavender essential oil, an ingredient in many health and beauty products. The plants cover mountains after mountains, lining a purple landscape with an unmatched fragrance. It may smell good, but your harvesting process is no easy task. One factor that can cause thousands of acres of lavender to go to waste is weeds, which unfortunately like to grow at the base of these plants, taking away water and important soil nutrients. That is why, between May and September, specialized machinery works hard to keep the lavender field alive. The weeding machine lifts the stems of the lavender and then shoots hot steam into the weeds around the base, thus killing this type of vegetation that is not at all wanted. To determine the right time for harvest, the grower has to look at the number of flowers and the color of the flowers, which should be bluish-purple on the verge of turning grayish-brown. Also, crush a few petals to see how oily they can be. Lavender begins to bloom in its second year, and harvest time on this farm is at the peak of the first bloom. There is a second bloom afterward, but it is not significant enough to warrant another harvest. The problem is that the harvest only takes place over a period of 6 weeks, and that the flowers have to be cut first thing in the morning, when they are most open and full of oil. The best way to do this is with a giant combine. So let me explain it simply. This great machine straightens lavender bushes. Then, rotating blades cleanly cut through the 15-centimeter stems. The combine harvester is specially designed to cut lavender like a professional stylist. The cut stems fall onto a conveyor belt that moves them into a tray, and then a kind of worm screw sends them to the truck that accompanies it. Once the trailer is full, it takes its cargo to the distillery. Similar to a homemade alcohol manufacturing process, pure lavender must be distilled to extract the best from it. Operators begin distilling by placing hundreds of tons of stems in a huge steel pot. Then, they load the lavender into a still, a large stainless steel container normally used to produce spirits. They compact as much lavender as possible in the still to prevent the formation of air pockets. In order for more oil to be extracted, the presence of air must be zero. Once the still is filled to capacity, they close it firmly and start a boiler. This boiler heats the water into steam, which they then inject into the bottom of the still at a very low pressure. Over the course of about 15 minutes, the steam slowly rises to the top of the still, heating the lavender along the way. It's as if it were a type of bain-marie. This process continues for about half an hour more. The strategy of this is to stimulate the glands located mainly on the petals so that the oil is released. Lavender sweats and gives off oil, which mixes with water vapor. The steam is collected in a large condensing pipe. The scented steam is then cooled inside another bucket and turned back into a liquid. Samples of this oil are tested by professionals, and the recipe is adjusted as needed. When testers give the go-ahead, the recipe is sent to another perfume distillery for mass production. The distillery facilities have an area of more than 20,000 square meters. These factories are composed of production lines, filling lines, and maceration tanks with a capacity of 350,000 liters. Before starting the process of making a perfume, the purity of the raw materials must be checked to ensure that they are not adulterated or contaminated. Raw materials can cost up to $2,000 per kilogram, so the manufacturer has to make sure that they are authentic and of premium quality. The materials are checked by gas chromatography. The substance is vaporized in the machine and then passed through a liquid. Different components of the substance pass through the liquid at different speeds. The machine detects them as it passes by and prints out the results. The perfumer can observe which components are present in the oil with an accuracy of 1 nanogram. Different amounts of essential oils are weighed using scales with an accuracy of 1 milligram. The first step is called composition. This involves accurately weighing all the components to create a concentrate. Essential oils and fixatives are poured into the skin, helping to maintain the stability and durability of the perfume. The concentrate is diluted with alcohol, left to mature, and once the aromas have penetrated the liquid, it is cooled and filtered to obtain a pure, clear, and intense perfume. The next step is to take a sample of the perfume to the laboratory to test its density. The final product is measured with a specific volume in milliliters. During the formulation process, everything is weighed in grams, as the manufacturer has to know what weight of the perfume will provide the required volume. The product is measured and weighed with laboratory scales. The density of the perfume can be calculated from the weight to the volume of the water, which ensures accuracy when refilling the bottles. Glass jars are made from silica sand, sodium carbonate, and limestone. The materials are mixed and heated to high temperatures in furnaces, melting to form a viscous mass. The hot glass mass is poured into molds specifically designed to create the desired shape of the jar. Once molded, the glass cools slowly to prevent it from breaking due to sudden changes in temperature. Some perfume brands ask that their bottles be subjected to an additional tempering process, which involves controlled cooling to increase their resistance. The cooled bottles undergo cutting and polishing processes to remove burrs and sharp edges. Then, they are decorated according to the perfume manufacturer's design and sent for filling with the fragrance. The resulting women's scent contains an incredible 70% alcohol, but the men's blend is even stronger. Men's perfume can have up to 95% alcohol. After filling the bottle with the perfume, it is closed with a spray bottle. Finally, they are packaged, labeled, and wrapped for distribution. If you liked the video, click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. In the windows that you will see below, there are more videos that may catch your attention. Go ahead and watch one. Until next time.